Good evening and welcome to Williamsburg Raider basketball on the Williamsburg YouTube channel. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, thank you for taking some time for Williamsburg Raider basketball. Joining me on the broadcast tonight is Kaya Tegetz on the video board. We also have Robbie Allison doing stats. Tonight we have the Raider girls against the South Tama Trojans. The Raiders are 7-12 all time versus South Tama, with the Raiders winning the last 7 meetings. The Trojans won the first 12 from 2014 through 2019. The Raiders just played the Trojans in Tama on January 13th, with the Raiders winning 55-24 as a part of their 3-game road trip that included a trip to number 10 ranked Williamsburg and number 4 ranked Benton, where the Raiders put up the best offensive performance against the Lady Cats on the season. The Raiders' best offensive performance on the season, scoring 47 points for an offensive efficiency of 96 points per 100 possessions. The Raiders' season high in points is 54 versus Montezuma, but there were 57 possessions in that game for an offensive efficiency of 94.7, the Raiders' second best offensive performance. There were only 49 possessions in the game against the Lady Cats, so the Raiders' 47 points equals an offensive efficiency of 96.2 points per 100 possessions. Against the Trojans, the Raiders ran out to a 9-point lead to lead 15-6 at the end of the first quarter. The Raiders outscored the Trojans 17-6 in the second quarter, lead by 20 at halftime, 32-12. The Raiders extended their lead to 31, outscoring a South Tama 15-4 in the third quarter to lead 47-16. Both teams would score 8 points in the fourth quarter for the 55-24 31-point victory for the Raiders. The Raiders struggled shooting the ball in the first meeting, shooting 32% from the field, 19 of 59, and 13% from three-point range, going 3 for 24 for an effective field goal percentage of 35%, their 11th best shooting performance on the season. But the Raiders were able to get a season-high 59 field goal attempts up, thanks to forcing a season-high 32 turnovers, 15 of which were steals, another season-high for the Raiders. The Raiders also collected a season-high 19 offensive rebounds, grabbing 45% of their misses, a season-high. The Raiders also had their best defensive performance in Tama against the Trojans, allowing a season-low 25% field goal percentage and a season-low effective field goal percentage of 26% by only allowing 1 3-point make. A season-low on a season-low 3 3-pointers attempted by the Trojans, and forcing that season high of 32 turnovers, forcing the Trojans to turn the ball over on 51% of their possessions. Also a season high for the Raiders. The Raiders only allowed the Trojans 24 points, a season low for the Raiders for points allowed, for a season best defensive efficiency of 38 points per 100 possessions allowed. For the Raiders, the Farm Bureau player of the game was sophomore Carly Rich, her team leading 5th Farm Bureau player of the game on the season, scoring 14 points, had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 steals, and 1 turnover. The KC sub of the game, Casey's, the pizza place that sells gas and subs too, was junior Taylor Heitman, her second KC sub of the game on the season, with 8 points, going 3 for 8 from the field, 2 for 6 from three-point range, had 5 rebounds, 3 of those coming on the offensive end, 2 assists and 2 steals. Junior Clara Sinclair leads the Raiders with 5 KC subs of the game on the season. Freshman Zoe Allen also had a good game with a double-double, scoring 13 points and 10 rebounds, 4 of those coming on the offensive end. Of the Raiders' 19 offensive rebounds, also had 2 assists. For South Tama, the Farm Bureau and KC sub of the game was sophomore Jeanette Cervantes with 4 points, 6 rebounds, an assist, 4 steals. The Raiders' last game was at number 10 ranked Center Point Urbana Storm Pointers, with the Raiders losing 49-37. The Raiders led at the end of the first quarter 12-4. Were outscored by 10 points in the second quarter, 18-8, to trail by 2 at 22-20 at halftime. The Storm Pointers extended their lead to 11 at the end of the third quarter by outscoring the Raiders by 9, 15-6. Center Point Urbana extended their lead by 1 in the fourth quarter by outscoring the Raiders 12-11 for the 49-37 final. The Trojans' last game was versus the 13th-ranked Vinton-Shellsburg Vikettes, losing 64-28. Senior Emma Hartwick was the Farm Bureau player of the game and the Casey sub of the game for South Tama, scoring 1 point and grabbing 5 rebounds, 3 of those coming off the offensive glass. She also had 1 block and 1 steal. Taking a look at the Capper Ford keys to the game. The Capper Ford key of the game for offense goes to the Raiders, as the Raiders are the better offensive team, scoring 42 points a game, which ranks 9th in the WAMAC, for an offensive efficiency of 74 points per 100 possessions, which also ranks 9th. South Tama is averaging 20 points per game, which ranks 11th or last in the WAMAC conference, for an offensive efficiency of 31 points per 100 possessions, also ranking last. The Trojans played a much faster pace than the Raiders, with South Tama averaging 64 possessions per game, which ranks 2nd in the conference, with only Independence playing faster, averaging 69 possessions, are the Independence Mustangs, which ranks 1st in the WAMAC. The Raiders play at the 2nd slowest pace of any WAMAC team, averaging 57 possessions, with only Benton playing at a slower pace, averaging 51 possessions. The Trojans' best player and 2nd leading scorer is senior R.O. Lyons, averaging almost 5 points a game, leading South Tama in field goals made, field goals attempted, field goal percentage, 3 points made, 3-pointers made, and 3-point percentage. Senior Ziara Kapayu is leading scorer for South Tama, averaging just under 5 points a game. The Trojans only take 16% of their shots from 3-point range, the lowest percentage of any WAMAC team. Kayla Heck is leading South Tama in 3-pointers attempted with 21, averaging 1.2 3-pointers a game, taking just 16% of her shots from 3-point range. Ziara Capeu is the other Trojan that's averaging more than 1 3-pointer a game, with 15 3-pointers attempted on the season, averaging just 1.1 3-pointers a game. Arrow Lions is leading South Tama from 3-point range, shooting 39%, 5 of 13 on the season, ranking 4th in the WAMAC West in 3-point percentage. The Raiders' leading scorer is sophomore Carly Rich, averaging just under 13 points a game, followed by freshman Zoe Allen, who's just over 11, and sophomore McKenna Hughes at 9.9 points per game. Both teams had above-average offensive performances in the first matchup in Tama, with the Raiders scoring 52 points, above their average of 42, for an offensive efficiency of 82, which is above their season average of 74. And South Tama scored 24 points, above their season average of 20, for an offensive efficiency of 38, which is above their average of 31. The defensive Capper Ford key of the game I'm going to call a push. These are the bottom 2 teams in defense in the WAMAC. The Raiders are allowing 56 points a game, which ranks 10th in the WAMAC, but due to their slow pace of play, is a defensive efficiency of 98.2 points per 100 possessions, which ranks last in the WAMAC. South Tama is allowing a WAMAC high 61 points a game, but due to their 2nd fastest pace of play, is a defensive efficiency of 95 points per 100 possessions, 3.4 points better than the Raiders. South Tama ranks 8th in the WAMAC in blocks, averaging just over 2 blocks a game, with Jeanette Cervantes leading the Trojans with 13 blocks. Zoe Allen's leading the Raiders in blocks with 3. In the first matchup, South Tama had an above-average offensive performance, scoring 24 points for an offensive efficiency of 38, again above their average of 20 points a game and above their offensive efficiency of 31. Both teams held each other below what they've been allowing their opponents on the season, with South Tama holding the Raiders to 52 points for that offensive efficiency of 82, below what they allow their opponents on the season, allowing 61 points on the season for an offensive efficiency allowed of 95 points. The Raiders held South Tama to 24 points for an offensive efficiency of 38, which is below what the Raiders have allowed their opponents on the season, the 56 points a game, and allowing an offensive efficiency of 98. The free throw line, Capper Ford key of the game, goes to the Raiders, as the Raiders get to the free throw line at a higher rate than South Tama and do not send their opponents to the free throw line as often. The Raiders are getting to the free throw line at a 25 rate, which ranks 7th in the conference, averaging 11 free throw attempts a game, which ranks 9th, shooting 62%, which ranks 7th in the WAMAC. South Tama is getting the free throw line at a 20 rate, which ranks last in the WAMAC, averaging a WAMAC low 7.6 free throw attempts per game, shooting a WAMAC low 40% from the free throw line. All those ranking last in the WAMAC. Also, the Raiders are sending their opponents to the free throw line at a 22 rate, which ranks first in the WAMAC, allowing their opponents to take 11 free throw attempts a game, which ranks second, where they're shooting at 63%, which ranks fifth. The Trojans are sending their opponents to the free throw line at a 32 rate, which ranks seventh in the WAMAC, allowing just over 18 free throw attempts a game, which ranks last. Where the Trojans have been lucky is their opponents have shot a WAMAC worst 53% from the free throw line. Sierra Capello is leading South Tama from the free throw line, averaging just under 2 free throws a game, shooting a 62%. Arrow Lions is leading the Trojans in free throw percentage, shooting 73%, 8 for 11 on the season. And Takaya Rosenberger is the only other Trojan averaging more than a free throw a game, getting to the free throw line 19 times on the season. Zoe Allen is leading the Raiders from the free throw line, averaging over 3 free throw attempts a game, shooting 73%. McKenna Hughes also averaging just under 3 free throws a game, shooting 61%. And Carly Rich is averaging 2.4 free throw attempts a game, shooting 64% from the free throw line. The free throw line was an advantage for the Raiders in the first matchup, with the Raiders getting the line 19 times to 5 free throws for the South Tama Trojans. The rebounding key to the game goes to the Raiders as well. Arrow Lions. The Raiders earn the capper forward key of the game for rebounding, as the Raiders are just ahead of the Trojans in grabbing more offensive rebounds and keeping their opponents off of the offensive glass. The Raiders are collecting 29% of their misses, which ranks 9th in the WAMAC, grabbing 8 rebounds, which also ranks 9th. South Tama is grabbing 26% of their misses, which ranks 10th in the WAMAC, collecting 8 offensive rebounds a game, which also ranks 10th. Only Mount Vernon is grabbing fewer offensive rebounds than the Trojans, averaging 6 offensive rebounds, collecting 26% of their misses. Arrow Lions is leading the Trojans on the offensive glass, followed by Jeanette Cervantes, Emma Harwick, and Kayla Heck, and Sienna Defoe, who are all averaging 1 offensive rebound a game or more. Clara Sinclair is leading the Raiders on the offensive glass, averaging just over 2.5 offensive rebounds a game, collecting 45% of her rebounds on the offensive end. Zoe Allen is also collecting over 2 offensive rebounds a game, and senior Natalie Beamer is grabbing just over 1.5 offensive rebounds a night. The Raiders also do a better job of keeping their opponents off of the offensive boards than South Tama, with the Raiders allowing their opponents to collect 43% of their misses, which ranks 10th, allowing 11 offensive rebounds. The Trojans are allowing their opponents to grab 48% of their misses, allowing them to collect 15 offensive rebounds, which ranks last in the WAMAC. Arrow Lions is leading the Trojans in defensive rebounding, average just over 3 defensive rebounds a game. Zoe Allen leading the Raiders in defensive rebounding, averaging that same 3.3 defensive rebounds as Arrow Lions is for the Trojans, followed by Clara Sinclair and Carly Rich. In the first matchup, the Raiders grabbed 45% of their misses, collecting 19 offensive rebounds. South Tama grabbed 32% of their misses, grabbing 9 offensive rebounds. Both teams grabbed more than their average, but below what they normally allow their opponents. The turnover key to the game goes to the Raiders. The capper forward key to the game for turnovers. The Raiders turn the ball over less than South Tama, turning the ball over on 23% of their possessions, which ranks 4th in the WAMAC, averaging 13 turnovers. South Tama turning the ball over on 43% of their possessions, averaging 27 turnovers, which ranks last in the WAMAC. South Tama is forcing their opponents to turn the ball over at a slightly higher rate than the Raiders, forcing their opponents to turn the ball over on 26% of their possessions, which ranks 9th, forcing 16 turnovers. The Raiders are right behind the Trojans, forcing their opponents to turn the ball over on 25% of their possessions, which ranks 10th, forcing 14 turnovers a night. Of the 16 turnovers forced by South Tama, 8 of them are steals, which ranks 9th. Of the Raiders' 14 turnovers, they forced 7.5 of them are steals. Jeanette Cervantes is leading South Tama in steals, averaging just over 1.5. Ziara Capello and Kayla Heck are also averaging more than a steal a game. For the Raiders, Carly Rich and McKenna Hughes are both averaging just under 2 steals a game, and Zoe Allen is averaging more than a steal a game. Let's send it down to PA announcer Brian Phillips for the starting lineups, sponsored by the Sundown. If you're looking for starters, a main course, or good beverages, stop on down to the Sundown. No matter when you'll visit, you'll enjoy great food and great company. Visit the Sundown Bar and Grill today to see what all the hype is about.
Good evening, Winter sports fans, and welcome to the original Warehouse on Walnut for the 2023 edition of Raider Girls Basketball. Tonight's contest is a WAMAC West Division matchup that features the guests on the scoreboard from Tama, the South Tama County Trojans, and the home team, your Williamsburg Raiders. The Trojans enter this contest with a record of 1 win and 17 losses, and the Raiders have a record of 3 wins and 14 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's starting lineups. First for the Trojans, at forward, a 5'8" sophomore, number 4, Jeanette Cervantes. At forward, a 5'8" junior, number 5, Kayla Peck. At guard, a 5'7" senior, number 24, Ziara Capay. At forward, a 5'7" junior, number 35, Sienna Defoe. And finally, at center, a 5'7" senior, number 40, Errol Lyons. The Trojans are coached by Gina Kiana, and who's assisted by Marsha Kiana. And now, the starting lineup for your Williamsburg Raiders. First, at guard, a 5'6" sophomore, number 1, Carly Rich. At forward, a 6-foot freshman, number 10, Zoe Allen. At guard, a 5'3" sophomore, number 11, McKenna Hughes. At guard, a 5'4" senior, number 20, Natalie Beamer. And finally, at forward, a 5'5" senior, number 25, Jenna Thurm. The Raiders are coached by Stephanie Dacey, who's assisted by Chad Thurm and Brett Kozacek. Your officials for tonight's game are Brian Woods, Dan Thomas, and Mark Watts. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise, remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's anthem is being performed by Williamsburg Junior Jazel Bott and her little brother, freshman Cooper Bott.
Let's take a look at the uniforms for the teams tonight, sponsored by Elite Sports. If you want your team to look its best, Elite Sports is a custom screen printing and embroidery company that's working with over 150 high schools and colleges in Iowa. They focus on athletics but print for any business or occasion. Screen printing and embroidery, awards and trophies, and custom artwork. At Elite Sports, their team of skilled in-house artists are available to assist with all of your needs. So the Trojans win the tip in their navy blue uniforms with the light blue Trojans across the chest, light blue numbers, and missed their first shot, rebounded by the Raiders. Carly Rich quickly into the offensive end. Her shot is off, rebounded, taken away by the Trojans. So both teams missing on their first attempt. Driving is Capeu, and she's going to pick up the foul. First foul of the night. Goes on Zoe Allen, and she's averaging over 3 fouls a game on the season. So Capeu to the line, missing the first. South Tama only went to the line 3 times in the first matchup. And Tama hits the second. There's our first points of the game. South Tama coming out in a 1-2-2 zone. Rich gets a screen from Zoe Allen. Ball's poked away, though, by Jeanette Cervantes. Carly Rich into the middle of that zone. Her floater is good. The Raiders are on the board and take their first lead, 2-1. Skip pass over to the right-hand side. Heck. Lefty shot is no good. Rebounded again by Carly Rich. She'll set up the offense against this 1-2-2 zone. Hughes gets a screen from Allen. Another one from Beamer. Hits Rich on the right-hand wing. Her three-pointer is good. The first three-pointer of the night for the Raiders. Raiders extend their lead 5-1. 4-point lead. Capeu, her three-pointer is no good. Rebounded by the Raiders. Rich gets it to Beamer. Driving the right-hand side. Looking for help on the baseline, but that's going to be stolen and turnover. Rich trying to get the steal right back again. Skip pass over to Heck. To Defoe. Now Lyons and Cervantes. Everybody touching the ball there. Ball's deflected out of bounds. Going to stay with South Tama. So we'll count that as a shot and block out of bounds to South Tama. Offensive rebound as they maintain control there. Capeu stopped on the drive by Beamer. Lyons skip pass over to Defoe. And we're going to get our first shot clock violation. So team turnover there. On South Tama. That's their first turnover of the night. Had 32 turnovers in the first matchup just a couple of weeks ago. Allen, ball fake, drives baseline. Shot is no good off the board. Rebound cleared away by Capeu. Capeu again on the baseline, driving on Beamer. Her shot rims in. Not going to find better rims to shoot on than these rims in the old gym, in the old warehouse on Walnut Street. These are the softest rims you'll ever find. So just get it up on the board. Zoe Allen gets the ball stolen away as she was driving to the hoop. Heck with the steal there. Lefty jumper in the lane is good. And the Trojans tie the ball game up at 5. Beamer, skip pass over to Zoe Allen, able to control before it goes out of bounds. Rich driving to the middle of the zone, looking for the foul. None called there. But then the Trojans throw the ball out of bounds and turn it right back to the Raiders. So Clara Sinclair checks in. Raiders' #1 sub off the bench for Natalie Beamer. Rich gets into the middle, kick out to Zoe Allen, her three-pointer off the back iron. Rebounded by the Trojans as they look to take their second lead of the night. Looking down low. Lions shot comes up short, but we're going to call that an offensive rebound on the air ball, but then stolen away by the Raiders. Raiders first steal of the night. Thurm from the left-hand wing. Three-pointer is no good. Thurm leading the Raiders in three-point percentage. Nice move by Capello to get in the middle of the lane. Rimming, no good. But we're going to get a foul. Foul is called on Rich. That's her first personal foul. Second team foul on the Raiders. So timeout called by Coach Kiana for South Tama Trojans as they come out shooting 2 for 7, 0 for 1 from three-point range, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Have collected 3 offensive rebounds so far on the night, had 9 in the entire game in the first matchup between the teams. And it was the Raiders that collected 19 offensive rebounds. So far, they don't have an offensive rebound. So nice job so far by the Trojans on their defensive boards, not giving up those extra possessions. Also, the Raiders forced 32 turnovers by the Trojans in that first matchup. So far, 3 turnovers on the Trojans tonight, 2 on the Raiders. So only a +1 so far for the Raiders in that advantage. Driving is Capello, blocked by Sinclair, and we're going to get a jump ball. That's going to go over to the Raiders then. Second block on the night already for the Raiders. McKenna Hughes initiating the offense. Gets to the basket, but her shot was blocked. Offensive rebound by Sinclair, and they're going to get Rich for a travel. So now both teams with 3 turnovers. And we're still tied at 5. Raiders are in a 2-3 zone on this possession here. And they're able to get it down low to Cervantes, who's fouled. Third team foul on the Raiders. This is the first foul on Sinclair. So at least the Raiders so far have been very democratic with their fouls, 1 for everybody. Cervantes from the free throw line, rims out. Cervantes shooting at 29% from the free throw line, 4 for 14 coming into the game tonight. Second free throw off the back iron, no good, and the rebound's taken away by Zoe Allen. Still in that 1-2-2 zone for the Trojans. Thurm gets it over to the right-hand wing to Hughes. She drives through, kicks it over to Sinclair. Back to Rich on the right-hand wing. Now to Zoe Allen. Zoe looking for some help. And she was dishing it out to Clara Sinclair. Foul is going to be called. And it's the first foul on South Tama. Arrow Lions picking up the first foul for the Trojans. Rich inbounds it to Allen, who gets it right back. Three-pointer from the right-hand corner is no good. Raiders starting out 1 for 5 from three-point range, 2 for 9 from the field overall. Pass corralled eventually. Nice save by Sienna Defoe. And Coach Kiana is going to call a timeout to save the possession there. Down to 18 on the shot clock are the Trojans. So they'll have to make sure they mention that in the timeout huddle. So both teams with 3 turnovers early on. Raiders forced 32 turnovers on the Trojans in the first matchup. The Raiders only turning it over 12 times. And as we mentioned earlier, In our Capper-Ford keys to the game, the Raiders struggled shooting the ball the first time, shooting 32%. They're starting out 2 for 9, 22% are the Raiders. The South Tama Trojans are 2 for 8 so far, so 25%. They shot 20% against the Raiders in the first matchup and are coming into the game shooting 21% overall on the season. So Trojans came out, took the first lead, making a free throw to lead 1-0. Raiders then scored and led by as much as 4, 5-1. But Trojans have scored the last 2 baskets to tie it up at 5. And Trojans inbounding the ball to Capeu. And we started with 18 seconds on the shot clock. Raiders in a 2-3 zone here. Shot up and rebounded by Thurm. Hughes gets to the baseline. Her shot rims out. Rebounded by Sinclair. Her second offensive rebound of the night. Rich getting in the lane, and she's fouled. I'm going to say on the floor. Okay. I thought he was holding up 2 fingers to shoot 2, but they're going to say inbounding on the floor. Second team foul, first foul on Kea Heck. Rich triggering, gets it into Thurm at the top of the key. Hand off to Hughes against this 1-2-2 zone. Gets it to Rich on the right-hand wing. 3-pointer front iron. Rebounded by the Trojans. And they're trying to work against this 2-3 zone defense by the Raiders. Capeu, as the ball got poked away, picks it up, finds herself open, and hits the shot for the Trojans to lead 7-5, their largest lead of the night. 1 minute to go here in the first quarter, and there's the third foul picked up on the Trojans. Jeanette Cervantes picking up her first foul. Emma Harwick checking in for Cervantes. And Taylor Heitman checked in for the Raiders. Rich driving through the lane. Shot comes up short. And again, good job by the Trojans so far in this game on the defensive boards. Capeu driving on Rich. Shot comes up short. Rebounded by Zoe Allen. Zoe Allen in the middle of the lane, gets all the way to the basket. Her layup is good. And we're tied up again at 7. So we were tied at 5 for quite a while. Now we're tied up at 7. Trojans can hold for the last shot here. They will not. Heck with front iron on that shot. Rebounded by Hughes. She's quickly down the floor, and her layup is good. Going coast to coast is McKenna Hughes to give the Raiders the lead. 9-7. Capeu with the long 3-pointer off the board. No good. And so the Raiders lead 9-7 at the end of the first quarter. So largest lead of the night for the Raiders was 5-1, a 4-point lead. Then the Trojans scored the next 2 baskets to tie it at 5, took a 7-5 lead, their largest lead of the night of 2 points. Raiders tied it on a layup by Zoe Allen and take the lead just before the end of the first quarter on a layup by McKenna Hughes. So the Raiders start out 4 for 14 from the field in the first quarter, 1 for 6 from 3-point range, and the Trojans are 3 for 13 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3-point range, and the Trojans the only one so far. They only went 1 for 3 from the free throw line in the first matchup in the entire game against the Raiders. 3 for 5 in the entire game, 1 for 4 in the first quarter were the Trojans. Only coming in averaging 7.5 free throws a game, shooting 40% from the line, over halfway to that total here in the first quarter. So the Raiders come out to start the second quarter with Rich, Hughes, Sinclair, Heitman and Allen. And the Trojans will inbound to start the second quarter. Won the first tip, then we had one jump ball. Ball poked away, almost by Sinclair. Trojans able to maintain control, but then traveling. Takaya Rosenberger checking into the game for Sierra Capeu. The Raiders will see if they can continue their little 4-0 run that ended the first quarter. Rich driving baseline, gets it to Hughes, who drives into the middle, kicks it out to Zoe Allen, and her jumper, mid-range jumper, is good. The Raiders hitting their first shot of the second quarter to match their largest lead of the game, 4 points, 11-7. Also led 5-1. Now a steal by Sinclair. Ball poked out of bounds. The Raiders will maintain control. Carly Rich to trigger, left of the basket. Gets it into Zoe Allen, right back to Rich. And going to call a turnover, saying that she had not established herself in bounds by the time she touched the ball. So when you're coming in from out of bounds, you have to make sure you have both feet in bounds before you get possession of the ball. That was the turnover violation there. Bad pass, and the Trojans give it right back. Four-point Raider lead, 11-7. Hughes gets into the middle lane, her runner off the back iron, but she runs down and collects her own offensive rebound. And the runner by Carly Rich is good. The Raiders take advantage of the offensive rebound and extend their lead to 6, 13-7. Turnover by the Trojans. Only had 3 in the entire first quarter. That's their 4th turnover already here in the second quarter. Hughes gets us to Rich. 2-3 zone now being used by the Trojans. Heitman back to Rich. Kaylin Heitman checked into the game for the Raiders. Heitman with the three-pointer, front iron, no good. Rebounded by Kaylin Heitman. She hands it off to Sinclair, driving to the basket. And she's fouled. She'll head to the free throw line. Sinclair shooting 55% from the free throw stripe. 12 for 22 on the season. First one is good. The Raiders' first free throw attempt and make on the night. Second one off the back iron is no good. Rebounded by the Trojans. Raiders lead up to 7 points now, 14-7. Capeu driving on Rich. Into the middle is Heck, and her shot is no good. But we get a pushing foul on the Trojans on the rebound. That's their 5th team foul. Hughes kicks it off to Rich. She drives into the middle of that zone, and her runner is good. Raiders heating up here in the second quarter and have extended that lead to 16-7. 3 for 5 here in the second quarter so far for the Raiders. And they've also got a free throw. Heck with the left-hand jumper. Oh my goodness, rattled in and out. That was halfway down and came back out. Skip pass to Heitman, and then kicks it to Hughes, who drives through the middle of the lane, gets it to Carly Rich, and her three-pointer is good. First three-point make of the Raiders of the quarter, second of the game, and the Raiders have extended that lead up to 12 points. Hughes comes away with the ball into the middle of the lane. Going to call a foul as she was driving to the basket on the floor. Wasn't quite up in that shooting motion. That's going to be the second foul on Cervantes. So Sienna Defoe checking in. She's looking at me, and I have no authority here whatsoever to usher her into the game. So as we are sitting courtside here tonight in the old warehouse on Walnut Street, rather than our new gym, the Rack, the Raiders Athletic Center, we are hosting wrestling districts in there. Natalie Beamer driving in the middle of the lane, gets it poked away. Jump ball, and that's going to go to the Raiders as the Trojans had it on the alternate possession to start the quarter. Zoe Allen checks back into the game and gets the inbound pass from Hughes. Gets the handoff. Her three-pointer off the back iron, no good, but Natalie Beamer with the offensive rebound and the putback. Runner by Capeu, no good. Offensive rebound, though, by Harwick. Shot by Cervantes is no good. Before the shot, they're going to say Heitman was fouled, and she's going to go to the line. That's the 7th team foul on South Tama, and that's the 2nd personal foul on Lions. So now they have Cervantes and Lyons, 2 starters, with 2 fouls each. And the Raiders in the bonus for the final 4:21 of the first half. Heitman's free throw comes up short. Raiders still lead by 14. Lyons shot is no good. Hughes with the rebound quickly into the front court. Drives in the middle of that 2-3 zone. Her runner no good. A little scoop shot. Comes up no good, but it fouled on it. So she'll go to the free throw line for 2. Lisa Morgan anxious to get into the game, and the officials say after the first free throw. Zoe doing some repair work on her shoes after that stumble down the floor on the defensive end. So now finally Hughes gets the 2 free throws here, shooting 61% on the season, and she's good on the first. So now the Raiders have equaled the Trojans from the free throw line with 4 free throw attempts. Raiders converting on 2, the Trojans only converting on 1. Second one is perfect. Raiders lead up to 16 points now, 23-7. Cervantes on the right-hand wing. Skip pass over to Capeu, being guarded by Beamer. Drives on the left-hand side. And on the drive, 3 seconds in the lane on South Tama. So that's the 8th turnover, 5th turnover of the quarter on the Trojans. Both teams had 3 in the first quarter. South Tama with 5 here in the second. The Raiders only with 1. Hughes drives right through the middle of that zone, and she's fouled. And if that's on Cervantes, that's going to be her 3rd. It is. That is her 3rd foul. 9th team foul. So on the next foul, the Raiders will be in the double bonus for the remainder of the half. 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. First free throw by Hughes comes up short. Zoe Sukup comes in for Kaylin Heitman. Second free throw attempt here for Hughes. That's off the back iron, no good. Fight for the rebound goes out of bounds off of the Raiders. So Raiders on a 16-0 run here, going back to late in the first quarter. 18-0 run. The Trojans led 7-5. And now the Raiders lead at 23-7 as we're going to get a holding foul on Beamer on the drive. Put both hands on the Trojan as she was driving to the basket. That's an automatic foul when the refs see that. On the inbounds, it's stolen by Hughes, but they're going to get her for a travel as she was trying to get herself away from the Trojans to try to advance the ball up the floor. Inbounding again, tipped away by Hughes, but recovered by Capeu. Scramble for the ball. They're going to say it's off of South Tama, out of bounds to the Raiders. So that's the 7th turnover of the quarter, 10th of the game. Hughes gets it to Beamer. Her three-pointer is good. 26-7. That's now a 21-0 run here by the Raiders in the second quarter. Zoe Sukup with the steal. The sophomore's lefty runner is no good. On the rebound, we're going to get a foul on the Raiders. Zoe Allen checking in for Taylor Heitman. Raiders in a 2-3 zone. Get it into the middle of that zone to Defoe. Swinging around to Capeu, and she shuffles her feet before she puts the ball down. That's the 9th turnover of the quarter on the Trojans. 12th of the game. Zoe Allen gets into the teeth of that defense. Looking for some help, though. Swung around to Hughes. Her layup is no good. Zoe Allen flies in for the offensive rebound. That rims off, no good, and rebounded by Capeu. Three-point attempt by Defoe is no good. Goes out of bounds to the Raiders. A 2-3 zone here by the Trojans. Beamer finds herself all alone. Drives through. Comes off the back iron, though. And stolen away by Hughes, up to Beamer. She is fouled on the layup attempt. That's the 10th team foul on the Trojans, so 2 foul shots the remainder of the half for the Raiders. This was an act in shooting, so Beamer to the line for 2 anyway. Misses the first. Raiders didn't shoot a free throw in the first quarter, are 3 for 8 here in the second. Second free throw, off the back iron, no good. Rebounded by Lyons. Carly Rich trying for the steal. Oh, and trying for the steal. I thought she said he was out of bounds, is what the official called. And South Tama was going to get the ball back. He's calling a foul on Krosky. And that's going to put Carly Rich to the free throw line for 2 shots. Carly Rich shooting 64% on the season. The first one rims good. That's those nice rims that I was talking about. Second free throw is also good. Raiders extend that lead to 21 points, a 23-0 run here by the Raiders going back to late in the first quarter. Just over a minute to go here in the second quarter. Shot up by Atlanta Ingwin up, and it's no good, out of bounds to the Raiders, and a foul on the rebound opportunity. So Kaylin Heitman going to the line for 2 as the Raiders are in the double bonus. Heitman's going to double her free throws on the season, came in 1 for 2. She'll get 2 here. First one, rim's good. Raiders 6 for 12 here, all in the second quarter from the free throw line. Did not attempt one in the first quarter. Second one comes up short. And on the rebound, they're going to get Zoe Allen for a foul. That's her second personal foul. That's the 16th foul on the Raiders. So the Trojans will be in the bonus for the final 1 minute and 9 seconds here in the 1-and-1. Raiders in a 2-3 zone here. And the ball is tipped away by Beamer, but able to be controlled. No, still on the floor. Got 3 players on the floor here. 3-point attempt by Heck is no good, and that goes out of bounds to the Raiders. Taylor Heitman checks in for Zoe Sukup with 47 seconds remaining here. So the Raiders hold it for 1, and they go for a quick shot here. Beamer right into the middle of the defense, kicks it out to Heitman. Her 3-pointer comes up short. Rebound. Going to call Krosky for a hold as Zoe Allen was going for that offensive rebound. She hits the first free throw. And the second. So South Tama with the remainder of the second quarter. And Heck's shot is no good, but rebounded by the Trojans. That's blocked by Zoe Allen. So Raiders holding for the final shot here. Down to 8 seconds in the half. Skip pass by Heitman, looking for Zoe Allen. That's going to go out of bounds. That's the Raiders' 3rd turnover of the second quarter. Their 6th overall of the game, had 3 early on. Krosky with the last second 3-point heave, and that is no good. And our halftime score is the Raiders 31 and the Trojans 7. So the Raiders on a 26-0 run dating back to late in the first quarter. South Tama led 7-5, and then the Raiders scored on a layup by Zoe Allen and a layup by McKenna Hughes to take the lead 9-7 at the end of the first quarter, and then pitched a shutout in the entire second quarter, outscoring the Trojans 22-0 in the second quarter to lead by 24 points here at halftime. So that will send it over to Kaya Tegitz for some words from our sponsors.
Hello Raiders, Nathan King here, Activities Director. We're extremely excited about this project and we hope you are too.
Shannon Finn. I'm a junior here at Williamsburg High School. I'm most excited for phase 1 of this project, the weight room floor and equipment. This will help all athletes here at WHS.
Hi, my name is McKenna Hughes. I'm a sophomore here at WHS, and I'm most excited for phase 2, the turf, where everyone can train all year round for all activities.
Hi, my name is Carly Rich. I am most excited for phase 3 of this project when the new batting cages come in.
Be on the lookout in the coming weeks in the mail and on social media to see how you can become a partner with us on this project.
Well, we had our first baby.
It is beautiful or handsome.
Oh, it's a boy.
We're interested in life insurance.
And we bought a bigger car.
Yeah.
Bigger car. Here is your plan. Goodbye.
When protecting your future, count on a human. Only a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent will sit down with you for a super check and together create a plan that works for you. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Contact Shannon Slockett and Wendy Yelland in Williamsburg today.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Calkins with the Bellin team and Leppert Krieger Realtors. Welcome to our office located in Williamsburg. We are a mother-daughter real estate team with over 30 years of experience. We take pride in educating our clients through the buying and selling process. We love supporting Raider athletes. Believe in yourself, work hard, and be a team. Go Raiders!
Your grandmother's fine china, those trendy sneakers, your collection of hand-carved duck decoys. Auto Owners protects your home. Because, well, somebody should. That's simple human sense.
Ask the Lillis Insurance Agency in Williamsburg if auto owners make sense for you.
Oh, now you do your job.
Hey, call insurance agent.
Insurance agent not found in contact.
Call insurance company.
Insurance company is currently closed. Please call back during business hours. For directions, press 1. For billing, press 2.
Sometimes humans are just more helpful.
Don't worry, we're going to get this taken care of.
Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Contact Jared Klosterboer and Amanda Hohenschel in Williamsburg today.
Unbelievable amount of devastation. I've never seen anything like it.
We had a beautiful barn that was gone in 20 minutes.
Farm Bureau stepped up right away and said, hey, we got you and we'll be there for you.
We were taken care of. Now we could get on to repairing and rebuilding.
I tell everybody about Farm Bureau.
We're fortunate to say we have good coverage with good people doing it.
Contact Shannon Slockett and Wendy Yelland in Williamsburg today.
Every home has a story, and for us, it's about the excitement on a young couple's face when they get the keys to their first home, or the happiness of watching a growing family purchase a home with a bigger backyard for their kids to roam. It's about the attention to detail of a new build and long-time dream finally taking off. And it's about the satisfaction of making the home buying process simple and smooth for a family looking to get back to their roots in the country. Apply in person or through the FTSB Mortgage Express app and let us help start your story. Come see us.
Now that we're married, we need help merging our finances.
Choose from these options: investing, insurance, retirement planning, college funding.
I have so many questions.
Here is a link to our FAQ page. Was this information helpful?
Go with no.
Sometimes humans are just more helpful.
I'm sure you have questions.
Farm Bureau Financial Services. Insurance, financial planning, all in one place.
Contact Jared Klosterboer and Amanda Hohenschel in Williamsburg today.
Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings has been turning ideas into beautiful homes for over 85 years.
Quality, style, and a fun shopping experience are what Ullman's is known for.
Come visit us and see our vast selection in Williamsburg or Grinnell.
And remember, there's always free delivery.
Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like.
Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today and stay as long as you like. Stop in Ullman's Fine Home Furnishings today
Quick look at our halftime stats here. With the Raiders leading at halftime, a 31-7. It was a tight ball game in that first quarter. South Tama led late in the first quarter, 7-5. And then the Raiders scored the last 2 buckets, a layup by Zoe Allen, a layup by McKenna Hughes to lead by 2. And that started their run, 26-0 run, outscoring the Trojans 22-0 in the second quarter, lead 31-7. So the Trojans shot the ball well in that first quarter, 3 for 13, 0 for 12 in the second quarter, or 0 for 5 overall from three-point range. Went 1 for 4 from the free throw line, all of that in the first quarter. Grabbed 5 offensive rebounds and 11 defensive rebounds. Committed 13 turnovers, so turning the ball over on 38% of their possessions, which is below their average of 43% so far on the season. Again, had a good first quarter, only turned the ball over 3 times, but 10 turnovers in the second quarter. Also, the Trojans committing 10 fouls, and that led to the Raiders getting to the free throw line in that second quarter. So the Raiders started out shooting hot at the beginning of the second quarter, then cooled off a little bit. 6 for 14 overall in the second quarter, 10 for 28 in the half, 36% from the field. So that's above their season average of 34%, making 3 3-pointers for an effective field goal percentage of 41%. Again, that's an above average shooting night as the Raiders come in with an effective field goal percentage of 39%. Raiders got to the free throw line 15 times, all in the second quarter, making 8 of those, shooting 53% from the free throw line, getting there at a rate of, for a free throw rate of 54. Raiders also collected 7 offensive rebounds, 5 of those coming in that second quarter, grabbing almost 40% of their misses. And the Raiders only turned the ball over 6 times in the entire half, turned the ball over on 17% of their possessions. So we'll see what happens, whether it's a third quarter like the first quarter or like the second quarter here. As South Tama comes out with the ball, 3-point attempt is no good to open up the third quarter by Capeu. Bounce past the Therm on the block, swung around to Rich. South Tama in a 2-3 zone. Bounce pass to Rich on the left wing. Gets it to Therm at the top of the key. Skip pass to Beamer in the corner. Down to 5 seconds on the shot clock. And then a foul on Cervantes. First foul of the quarter, first foul of the half. But that is the 4th personal foul on Cervantes. Emma Harwick jumps off the bench, but not in before the ball was inbounded. So Cervantes will have to be very careful. 3-point attempt by Rich is no good, but offensive rebound by Zoe Allen, and that's put back for the Raiders. So the Raiders strike first in the third quarter. That run now has run to 28-0. Capeu driving on Rich. Shot up off the back iron, taken away by Rich. Beamer back to Rich in the left-hand corner. Driving baseline. Gets stopped there by Defoe. Kicks it out to Beamer. They reset with McKenna Hughes at the top of the key against this 2-3 zone. Raiders down to 10 seconds. Hughes will take the 3, and it's good. Nice attempt on the save by Beamer, but I'll stay with the Trojans. Last touch by South Tama, so that'll be a turnover to the Raiders. First turnover of the half. South Tama still in that 2-3 zone. Carly Rich gets it in the left-hand corner. Her three is good. The Raiders start out hot here in the third quarter like they started out hot in the second quarter. 39-7 now the Raiders lead. Heck rips it through, maintain the possession. Capello for three, and she hits it. That ends the Raider run. 39-10. Bounce pass to Zoe Allen's poked away and stolen by the Trojans. Heck over to Defoe. Harwick, Capello. Tough shot against Carly Rich. Zoe Allen flying down the floor. Raiders now lead by 31, 41-10. Coach Kiana going to take a 30-second timeout. So 34-0 run by the Raiders. As they were down by 2, 7-5. And then they led 39-7 before that three-pointer by Capello to end the run. And the Raiders now lead by 31, 41-10. Raiders start out this third quarter, 4 for 5 shooting, making 2 3-pointers. So that's a perfect effective field goal percentage. And South Tama starts out 1 for 4, making their only 3-pointer. Raiders come out man-to-man defense here on this possession. They played some 2-3 zone here tonight against the Trojans. Get it down to Lions on the block. Offensive rebound by Defoe is good. (41-12). South Tama stays in that 2-3 zone. Skip pass from Beamer over to Heitman. Driving through the middle of the zone is Hughes. Now Beamer kicks it out to Heitman. Her three, no good. Rebounded by Beamer, who puts it back up and in. (43-12), the Raiders lead back to 31. And Capello travels. And Kaylin Heitman checking in for Jenna Thurm. Clara Sinclair in the game. Bounce pass to Heitman at the elbow there. That's where you want to get the ball in against that 2-3 zone. Get it right in the middle of that zone. And that's the pass you can't make against that zone as Capello drives coast to coast after the steal. So 2 turnovers by the Raiders here in the quarter. Both of those steals by the Trojans. Beamer driving in the middle of the lane, gets it to Heitman, who kicks it over to Hughes in the left-hand corner. Her three-pointer is long. Defoe hands it over to Lyons. Down on the block is Heck. Her shot is no good. Rebounded by the Raiders. Heitman for three. Off the front iron, no good. Rebounded by Defoe. Defoe being guarded by Heitman. Drives left. Layup opportunity comes up short. Rebounded by Heitman. Here comes Hughes looking for Sinclair. Taken away by Lyon. And then turned right back over to the Raiders. And Natalie Beamer with the left-hand layup. 45-14, the Raiders lead. Minute and a half to go here in the third quarter. Capello, her runner is good. Answering right back. South Tama heating up here now, 4 for 10 in the quarter. Hughes thought about it, bounce pass down low to Heitman, and we're going to get a foul called, holding call on South Tama. That's their second foul here in the second half. Zoe Allen, Carly Rich checking back in. Azalea Morgan and Paige Krosky also check in for the Trojans. Rich inbounds it to Zoe Allen, runs to the left corner, gets it right back. Three-pointer, no good. Rebounded, though, by Kaylin Heitman for the Raiders. Here comes Krosky for the Trojans. Gets it to Morgan, back to Krosky. Her shot blocked by Carly Rich, out of bounds to the Raiders. (45-16) the Raiders lead. Still in that 2-3 zone for South Tama. Ball off of the Trojans. So Raiders will maintain possession. 24 seconds on the shot clock. Takaya Rosenberger checks into the game. Still in that 2-3 zone are the Trojans. Heitman gets a screen from Kaylin Heitman. Rich looking for the bounce pass to Sinclair. And jump ball, I think, with a tie up there, and that's going to remain possession with the Raiders. Rich looking to drive. Sinclair to Allen, down to 5. Sinclair puts up the three-pointer, comes up short, but that's going to be offensive rebound and put back in by Kaylin Heitman. Right place, right time. So our Raiders lead by their largest lead again, 31 points at the end of the third quarter. So the Raiders score 16 points. And 9 for the Trojans. They go 4 for 11 in the quarter. 1 for 1 from three-point range for those 9 points. Raiders 7 for 14 from the field, 50%. 2 for 7 from three-point range. And neither team got to the free throw line. Raiders getting to the offensive boards again. Up to 11 offensive rebounds now for the game. Had 4 there in the third quarter. Raiders come in averaging 8 offensive rebounds. Had 19 in the first matchup between the Trojans. So Raiders have some of their sophomore, junior JV players into the game here as we start the fourth quarter. Krosky for 3 off the back iron. Rebound tipped and controlled by Morgan. Lyon kicks it back out to Rosenberger. Driving, nice pass. Shot's no good, tipped out of bounds to the Raiders. So Allie Gore, Zoe Sukup, Alexis Dayton, Ariana Costa, and Taylor Heitman, the 5 on the floor for the Raiders. Nice pass. I think both officials agree there was a push on the drive, but they're going to say it was before the act of shooting. So the Raiders will inbound underneath. Third team foul on South Tama. Allie Gorsh inbounds it to Dayton. Her shot comes up short. Rosenberger gets it to Krosky. To Morgan. Back to Rosenberger. She loses control to Allie Gorsh. On the breakaway, blocked. Nice block by Rosenberger to deny Allie Gorsh. Trying to go coast to coast on the steal. Gorsh inbounds it to Heitman. Zoe Sukup driving left-hand side. Allie Gorsh with the 3. That comes up short. So first minute plus here in the fourth quarter. Neither team has scratched yet. Lions being guarded by Dayton. Skips it over to Morgan, being guarded by Taylor Heitman. Skip pass by Lions to Krosky, being guarded by Zoe Allen. It gets Lions in the middle of the floor. Over to Harwick. I think everybody's touched the ball. Down to 5 seconds now on the shot clock. Ball's tipped out of bounds by Gorsh. South Tama will maintain possession. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Get into Rosenberger. And here she's looking for Harwick down low, and the pass is stolen away. Zoe Sukup on the drive. She's fouled. And that's the 4th team foul. Zoe Sukup, that's her 3rd free throw attempt on the season. Now 0 for 3 in varsity play. Brodie Weingarten set to check in. Must be coming in for Zoe. And she front rims the 2nd free throw as well. So 2 minutes gone and still no scoring here in the fourth quarter yet. Raiders now man-to-man defense. Driving. Stolen away by Heitman. Ariana Costa with the shot. Capello on the drive. Got a blocking foul. I'm going to say before the shot. So Brodie Weingarten finally gets in the game for Zoe Allen there. Zoe Allen picked up that foul on the block, but it's before the shot. The shot fell for Capello, but they're going to say the foul was before the shot. Heck with the left-hand jumper, no good. Rebounded by Alexis Dayton. Both teams start out 0 for 4 here in the fourth quarter. Allie Gorsh gets it in the middle of that zone to Dayton. Left-hand layup attempt by Acosta comes up short. On the run is Capello. Rims out, but going to be fouled. And this time, Capello will go to the free throw line. Fouls on Brodie Weingarten. Capello 62% from the free throw line on the season, 16 for 26, and hits the first. That's their first free throws attempted and made since the first quarter. 1 for 4 in the first quarter, now 2 for 5, 3 for 6 on the night for the Trojans. And they're the first ones to scratch here in the fourth quarter, cutting the Raider lead from 31 at the end of the third quarter down to 29, 47-18. First turnover of the fourth quarter for the Raiders. Here comes Capello on that right-hand side again. The runner is good. There's our first field goal made of the fourth quarter. Capello with all 4 points of the fourth quarter. Raider lead down to 27. Dayton gets it to Acosta, driving to the basket. Gonna get a jump ball. Katie Reed checking in the game for Dayton. That was a jump ball there. Raiders will get it on the alternate possession. Weingarten looking for Acosta, and that pass is taken away by Defoe. 2 turnovers by the Raiders, both of them steals. And the Raiders get it back. Weingarten going down the sideline, turns it over, steps out of bounds. Allie Gorsh, Garden Capello has all 4 points in the quarter. Nice pass underneath. Capello was going, cutting through, and Cervantes catches it and puts it in. 47-22. Acosta's shot comes up short. 6-0 run here to start the fourth quarter by the Trojans, and taken away by Weingarten. 5th turnover by the Trojans, 5th steal by the Raiders, but then the Raiders turn the ball back over again. Five new Trojans check onto the floor. Rosenberger being guarded by Allie Gorsh. Kicks it over to Morgan. Looking for Rosenberger again. She picks up the loose ball. Looking for Lyon down on the block. Taken away by Katie Reed, but then taken right back by Rosenberger. And she gets it to Morgan, who's fouled. And Taylor Heitman will pick up the foul. That's her second personal foul, 3rd team foul on the Raiders here in the second half. These are the first free throws on the season for Morgan, and the first one is off the back iron, no good. Sixth varsity game for Eliza Morgan. Misses both, rebounded by Lyon. And then a jump ball, so that will stay with the Trojans then. Quickly inbounded to Rosenberger. Skip pass over to Krosky, being guarded by Allie Gorsh. Her shot off the top of the backboard and hits the shot clock. Oh, they're saying that was tipped out of bounds. The shot was tipped. So that's going to stay with South Tama then. So inbounded to Krosky. Rosenberger, her shot is long. Rebounded by Ariana Costa. Allie Gorsh being harassed by Rosenberger to Weingarten. Nice pass to the middle of the floor. To Acosta, who got it to Reed, and Katie Reed Shot is no good and goes out of bounds to the Trojans. Pass deflected, almost stolen away by Taylor Heitman. They get it over to Krosky. Her three-pointer comes up short, rebounded by Allie Gorsch. Raiders will maintain control, jump ball, as Heitman couldn't control the pass. Raiders will inbound underneath. Bradley Weingarten to trigger. Looking for Katie Reed, and taken away by Rosenberger. Fifth turnover of the quarter by the Raiders. Rosenberger gets it to Harwick, over to Morgan. Her shot is no good. Allie Gorsch gets it across the timeline. Gets it down to Katie Reed on the block. Her shot is no good. Raiders 0 for 9 here in the fourth quarter. Skip pass by Lyons over to Harwick. Krosky with the step back off the back iron. Taylor Heitman in between two Trojans trying to get the rebound, but it comes to Harwick. Morgan, no. Offensive rebound, no. Another opportunity for Harwick, still no. Weingarten looking for Katie Reed, and Lyons going to pick up the foul there. That's the fifth team foul, fourth personal foul on Arrow Lyons. Weingarten rebound to Acosta. Again, we're going to get a jump ball. They're going to call the travel before the jump ball, so the jump ball arrow will still stay with South Tama. And traveling violation on the Raiders. Sixth turnover of the quarter. Rosenberger driving right through the Raider defense, and her layup is good. 47-25, Raiders lead. Gorsch gets some help breaking the pressure. Nice pass over to Katie Reed. Raiders finally scratch on a nice pass from Weingarten to Katie Reed. 49-25. Raiders lead down to 24 points, led by as many as 31. Krosky's three-pointer comes up short. Trojans full court pressure here, 1-2-2 full court press. Weingarten gets it into Gorsch, who breaks the pressure easily. Kicks it back out to Acosta, being harassed by Rosenberger. Oh, a two-hand push by Rosenberger on Acosta as she was driving down to the basket. Didn't appreciate being taken down to the post. And that will be the seventh team foul. Acosta will go to the free throw line for 1-1. They're calling intentional foul, and two shots in the ball for the Raiders then on the push by Rosenberger. So Ariana Acosta going to the free throw line. These are her first varsity free throws. First one rims out. Second varsity game for Ariana Acosta. Second one is good. (50-25). Raiders lead by 25. Excuse me, 50-24. Raiders lead by 26. Inbounding the ball, though, and taken away, and that's as the horn sounds by the Trojans. So that's our final score then, is 50-24. Raiders win by 26 points. Raiders only shot 1 for 10 in that fourth quarter, with the JV players playing the entire time out there in that fourth quarter. Trojans went 3 for 16 as they were able to turn the Raiders over 7 times. Raiders forced 5 turnovers by the Trojans there. Both teams getting the free throw line 4 times in that fourth quarter. So only 3 points scored by the Raiders in the fourth quarter. And the Trojans scored 8 points. So it was that second quarter where the Raiders outscored South Tama 22-0, where they took control of the game, added to the lead to build up a 31-point lead as they outscored South Tama 16-9 in the third quarter. And then with the JV on the floor, South Tama able to cut into that Raider lead for our final score of 50-24 tonight. From the old warehouse on Walnut Street, as we're hosting wrestling districts in the new gym, the Raiders Athletic Center, the RAC. So the Trojans return home for senior night on Friday, February 3rd, as they host the 7th-ranked Clear Creek Amana Clippers, and then close out the 2022-2023 regular season in Van Horn against the number 4-ranked Benton Lady Cats on Tuesday, February 7th. The Raiders girls' next game and our next telecast will be on Friday, February 3rd, as they host the 10th-ranked Vinton-Shellsburg Vikettes. A big thank you to Kea Tex running the video board and our stat crew of Robbie Allison and Cooper Bott. Thank you for joining us on our Williamsburg YouTube channel for tonight's girls' basketball game between the Raiders and the South Tama Trojans. Good night from the old warehouse on Walnut Street. We'll see you Friday night.